play with chat a little bit as we go along. But what is up, everybody? It is, let's see, today is Tuesday. It is November 6th. Welcome to episode 2 of VR365. Yes, this is episode 2 of the show. And yeah, check out the funky background. Yeah, I don't know that this is the background that I want to roll with. I actually spent the better part of this morning trying out like 7, 8 different backgrounds, and I couldn't decide on a background that I really liked. I went ahead and rolled with this one for now. Just, it's a new background, and I will continue to look for possibly a better background. But this one is halfway decent. It has the red and the black, and you combine that with the VR365 logo. I think it's relatively decent there. Okay, now that we've got a couple more chatters coming in, I can adjust my chat window a little bit because I don't want to cut off people's messages, or at least not cut them off too much. So I'm going to go ahead and move this like so. Okay. Alrighty, so here we are. Yes, it is episode 2 of VR365. It is Tuesday. It is November 6th. This is the voting day in the United States. There are a lot of elections, a lot of propositions, a lot of different things going on. And of course, what most people would say is get out there and vote. Get out there and vote, ladies and gentlemen. But honestly, I'm not going to tell you that. You know why I'm not going to tell you that? Because there's a lot of people that take literally no time whatsoever to investigate propositions, to look into the different people that are running. And yeah, they go vote, but they're voting pretty much based on all the television advertisements, all the radio advertisements that they're hearing, stuff that was in their mailbox that is trying to convince them to vote this way or that way. And I kind of wonder, is it better for somebody to not vote if you're uneducated about all the topics? Or is it better for you to vote even if you're uneducated? And I don't know. It's a hard one. So I'm not going to tell everybody to run out there and vote because I don't know that is the best way to do it. I don't know that everybody should run out there and vote because I don't think everybody actually pays attention to everything, right? Let me. I gotta make this chat window just a little bit smaller and then bring this up here like this. And move it up here more like this. Vote for CB2. That is Shirzad Khan City checking in. Vote for CB2. Okay. I got to make sure that... Ooh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Got to make sure that we get the final chat messages popping up. So I'll move that like there. There we go. I think that'll be pretty decent for now. Okay, so what is the topics of the day? It's not about voting, even though today is, I guess, election day or whatever you want to get into. But you know what? The number one news story of the day is HTC. And I guess if I'm going to talk about HTC, I should probably go ahead and throw something on the trailer that is HTC related. And so there's our guy, Dan O'Brien. I believe he is the HTC Vive, like the head HTC Vive guy here in the USA, right? Or something like that. I forget what his exact title is. But HTC is going to be debuting a new enterprise product this Thursday. Now, this was one of the lead stories on Upload VR, but the last time I went to Upload VR, something has happened to their website. Like something has gone screwy with their website. I don't know if it's fixed now or what the deal is, but there's actually not much information on this story anyway. Basically, the only thing Upload VR was saying is that on Thursday, HTC is going to debut something that is in the enterprise category. It's in the enterprise category, basically like arcade and all that kind of stuff. And that this is going to be, the unveiling is going to happen somewhere in the Silicon Valley area around 11 a.m. Pacific time this Thursday. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh man, enterprise, come on, that's lame. Who gives a damn about enterprise? And let me go ahead and I'm going to switch up the trailer. We'll try to grab some other Vive related thing. How about this one here? Oops, of course. Resizing is a must. I guess this one doesn't really fit in the window correctly here. And yeah, there's our guy, Dan O'Brien. I'm going to go ahead and turn this down. But yeah, even though this is an enterprise-related product, the fact that they're inviting Upload VR and a number of other websites and news outlets to this unveiling, and then they've also promised that there will be some time after the unveiling for people to try it out, okay? But we don't know what it is, but there's going to be some time for people to try it out. Now, this could possibly be the American introduction of the Vive Focus. We know that the Vive Focus is going to be brought to the USA. It could possibly be that. It could possibly be a new headset that is designed for the really high-end arcade market, and that would be super interesting as well, because there's the possibility, of course, that this new headset could eventually trickle down and become a consumer-based headset as well. Could HTC be concerned about these other companies like Star VR that are making these really high-end headsets, or the Extal headset, or any of these other high-end headsets that are coming out? HTC has really actually dominated quite well in the enterprise market. If you think about all the VR arcades that are out there worldwide, the vast majority of them have HTC Vive headsets there. Most of the arcade centers are using HTC Vives. They're much more popular than the Oculus Rift, and I think it's probably more because of Steam and everything, and then also because of the tracking, the pinpoint tracking, not having to worry about USB sensors. Also, of course, there is the setups for sharing the games and for having an arcade platform. And Oculus, you know, going back to Oculus, I remember I was interested in doing some VR arcade type of stuff. And I was really interested in Oculus getting involved in the VR arcade game. And I actually contacted somebody from Oculus internally to be like, hey man, why don't you guys have a setup for VR arcades so that you could, you know, why don't you have a plan that's set up so that I could have an Oculus Rift in a VR arcade and I could use the Oculus Store and my customers could use the Oculus Store, and maybe the entire store would be open and you would simply be paying an amount of money per minute for whatever experiences your customers happen to go into on the Oculus Store. Something very similar to Springboard VR. And way back then, when I was talking to Oculus about this, they said, wait until Oculus Connect 5. We're going to have more to announce at Oculus Connect 5. Wait for Oculus Connect 5. Well, hey, Oculus Connect 5 has come and it has gone. And to the best of my knowledge, Oculus does not have any official platform for VR arcades for the Oculus Store. You know, I was interested actually in Oculus Go, using an Oculus Go in a VR arcade setup and the Oculus Store and all that. And Oculus doesn't have a program. HTC does have programs. HTC does have programs in this particular category, and that's why they have been the enterprise leader pretty much worldwide. They are the enterprise leader out there. And so there will be this announcement on Thursday. I guess if I had to bet money, I would probably bet money on the Vive Focus. Maybe this is just the introduction of the Vive Focus, and they're going to try to spin the Vive Focus here in the USA as an enterprise product, which is probably a smarter idea than trying to really go after the consumer market. But I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens this Thursday 11 a.m. Pacific time at an undisclosed location in the Silicon Valley. So I don't know if this is something that's going to be live streamed at all because, you know, it is enterprise based. So maybe we'll just find out live on my show on Thursday. I probably won't be looking at it at the time, but somebody in chat will probably come in and say, here's the announcement. It turns out it is the Vive Focus, Much Ado About Nothing. So we'll have to see what happens there. Okay. Hussein X says, hi all, nice background. Cool, you know, background, yeah, I kind of like it. I actually like the background a lot better when you don't have any of this stuff covering the background. And one of the slight downsides to the background is it didn't have the spots where I needed it perfectly to be the way I wanted it. But, you know, it's a decent background, so I'm good with it. Okay, what is the next biggest story of the day? And without question, it is this. Ladies and gentlemen, Unseen Diplomacy 2 has officially been it hasn't been unveiled. We don't even have a teaser trailer. I don't think there's anything for this other than basically this website, and in the Steam community they showed kind of a similar logo to this. You can go to this website, you can input your email address so you can be updated with more information about Unseen Diplomacy 2. It is going to be coming at some point in time. You can see the guy, well actually you can't see it because my video window is blocking it, but the guy is holding a Vive controller. Of course, that's kind of what it looks like on the original Unseen Diplomacy. Now, Unseen Diplomacy, remember the developer of this game is what is their name? Triangular Pixels. I was about to say Twisted Pixels. No, Triangular Pixels is the developer of Unseen Diplomacy. And you might remember I talked for a while about Smash Hit Plunder, which came to PlayStation VR. Relatively disappointing game, nothing very extravagant about it. I think it's a decent game for if it was $10, but I believe it was like 30 pounds. I don't know if Smash Hit Plunder has ever hit the USA PlayStation Store. I know it was available in the UK, but we talked quite a bit about Smash Hit Plunder, and the reason I was so interested in Smash Hit Plunder, I should probably change this trailer, is the reason I was so interested was because of the developer and the pedigree. And, you know, the developer, of course, is Triangular Pixels. And I thought, you know, Triangular Pixels, I mean, those are the guys. They developed, let me see if I can grab the Smash Hit Plunder trailer since we have them on blast right now. These are the guys that made Unseen Diplomacy. And Unseen Diplomacy, honestly, was the best room scale game of all of them. You know, of all the room scale games that really gave you that room scale feel where you could walk around and just use real life locomotion. There is no locomotion. You just walk around. I think Unseen Diplomacy, probably the best game. And so if you have a Vive wireless adapter, or if you have a TP Cast, play Unseen Diplomacy, because you can crawl around on the ground. You can walk through this door. You can walk through that door. Unseen Diplomacy is a really great game for that. It's only like $3, and it's more of a tech demo than anything, but it kind of gives you the idea. But I've always wondered, oh my God, if this studio, Triangular Pixels, like if they were to create a really legit Unseen Diplomacy #2, taking all of the knowledge that they have. You know, Unseen Diplomacy was there April 2016, so they could probably work on this in the background and create a really incredible room scale thing. So that is the hope. That is Unseen Diplomacy 2. We don't have any kind of a release date. We don't have any kind of extra information on that. But that is one of the topics out there. Let's see, what else did I want to get into? Okay, we are definitely going to be talking about Transpose. Transpose is the topic of the day, and we are going to get to that very soon. But I did want to cover a couple of minor things as well. So, Titan Slayer 2 is currently available. This game actually came out yesterday on November 5th. The price is 30 buccarinos. It is not cheap. It is not for the faint of heart. Now, there is kind of a bonus for only $4.39 more. You can actually get a bundle where you get Titan Slayer and Titan Slayer 2. And, you know, $30, really? 30 bucks. You're really going to go to the 30 buck range. And the thing that I've heard about Titan Slayer 2 is this one guy played it and he said that he basically beat the game in a half an hour. So right now it looks like Titan Slayer 2 is probably a hard pass for most people out there unless we hear otherwise. But Titan Slayer 2 is currently available. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get into, let's go ahead and get into Transpose. Transpose is definitely the banger of the day. Let's see here. What do I want to do here? Oops, I don't want to go over here. I want to go back over here. And I want to throw on a Transpose trailer while I go ahead and talk about Transpose. So let me go ahead and grab a Transpose trailer and throw that on the board. And you know what? I have some notes. I took some notes about Transpose. It definitely, this game spoke to me in a number of ways. And so this game was embargoed and I couldn't talk about it. And I've kind of been playing this game in the background for a number of days. And I Am Rhett says, Anthony, should we buy Transpose? Well, I'll get to that. I'm going to get to that. First of all, actually, well, let me grab the Steam page for Transpose. Before I get into the discussion, let's go over to the Steam page because I was kind of curious, what is the price going to be? How is this going to work out? And so if we go over to the Steam page, this game is available as of today, November 6th, Transpose. The developer is Secret Location. These are the blasters of the universe, guys. These are the Great Sea guys as well. They did Great Sea. They did Blasters of the Universe. Now, the thing is, under the umbrella of Secret Location, I believe there are multiple teams that are doing a lot of different things, some of which is not games. So I don't know that the actual Blasters of the Universe people that really worked on that, I'm not sure they really worked on the Great Sea, but they may have worked on Transpose. So they have an umbrella over there at Secret Location. I believe they do have a number of teams. Now the price, I'm really happy about this. The price is 20 bucks. The normal standard price is 20 bucks for Transpose. You can get a 10% chop on that price, so you can get it for 18 bucks. That lasts until November 13th, so it's kind of celebrating. And there's also an original soundtrack that you can download for free. That's pretty cool. And I'll tell you what, soundtrack is pretty freaking banging. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get into Transpose and this game and my thoughts about this game. And I've got quite a few thoughts about it. So the title of this show is, I think I was like, Transpose, is this the next great Tron-like? And I'm kind of inventing that phrase, Tron-like. And the reason I say Tron-like is, do you guys remember the early days of VR gaming when virtually every single game that came out was Tron-like in some kind of way, shape, or form? Hollow Ball, you know, all kinds of things. I mean, everything kind of looked like Tron. Those were the early days. Everything was kind of Tron-ish. And my question is this the best Tron-like game? And what I mean by that, when you're in the world of Transpose, when you first get in there, you kind of feel like you've just stepped into Tron, and that is an exciting thing. I really love that. The first time I was in the world of Transpose, I'm looking at my arms, I'm looking at my hands, and the inverse kinematics is pretty freaking badass. Really good inverse kinematics. I would rate it up there with Lone Echo. Yeah, I mean, kind of in the Lone Echo category. When you're looking at your arms in Transpose, you got very skinny arms, like these really skinny arms, and everything is green. You feel like you're from freaking the Wizard of Oz or something, you know, the Emerald City, the Wizard of Oz. You're like an Emerald City robot from the Wizard of Oz with these green crystallized robot form that you have, and you're looking at your arms and you're twisting your wrists and you're moving your arms around and your elbows and all of that. And the inverse kinematics is really nice, and I think it really grounds you into the experience. I really like that. The other thing I'll say about it is the world that you're in here in Transpose is a very surreal kind of a world. This is one of, I really love these VR games where, like, Transpose is the kind of game, like, if you're a weed smoker, you're probably going to want to smoke some weed and play Transpose, because it's this kind of game. You get into the world, you're in another place, man. You've been transported to another place, and it is a surreal kind of a world. You're looking around and you're like, wow, this is an awesome, surreal kind of a world. It's kind of just a chill world to be in. Maybe the best Tron-like world I've seen so far. And then you have very good music as well. Shirzad Khan City says, wait a minute, it's another puzzler? Yes, this is a puzzler. This is a puzzler. And that might be the that might be the biggest downer of the entire game, is that ultimately it's just a puzzle game. Because I kind of want to be in this Tron world and like explore, like meet characters, talk to people, maybe battle things, maybe get into like a little ship that flies somewhere. You know, I kind of want to do more in this world. It's such a cool world, but all you are is you're doing these puzzles. So I guess I should probably talk about the gameplay a little bit. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Portal, but it's Portal combined with the idea that basically you are like a duplicate. Okay, you create these duplicate versions of yourself, and so it's like clones of yourself. And so you'll do something where you'll take one of these cubes. There's these cubes that you have to get from one spot to another spot, and then you've basically solved that puzzle when you've grabbed the cube and you've gotten it successfully to where you're putting it. Like, see these guys, they're holding a cube, they hand it off to another guy, he grabs a cube, and then you put it inside a container, which then unlocks these different doors that allow you to go to a new area. And so what happens is you'll basically do an action, and that will be recorded, and then you'll switch over to another area, and there's your recorded action, and it's throwing the cube, and now you're catching the cube. It's hard to explain, man. It's kind of like a mind bender in terms of that. It will kind of this is one of these games where, as it probably gets more and more complex and more intricate in terms of like all the different versions, all the different clones of yourself that you have recorded, and they're playing each other out. It's going to be one of these games where it's probably going to make your brain hurt as you get farther and farther into the game. But it's a cool puzzle game. It's a cool idea. And it starts off very easy and very basic, so you can really get the basic idea of it. And for $18, I kind of recommend this. You know, I not only do I kind of recommend this, if you like Tron style looking games, and if you like puzzle games and kind of being in a chill kind of a world with pretty cool music that's playing in the background that kind of sets the stage for it, and you can kind of relax and just enjoy this puzzle world, like Transpose, I highly recommend it in that kind of a category. There's a number of things that I was reminded of too. It's very surreal. Like, I cannot overstate how surreal this game is, and just the vibe of it and everything. Because you know what I was reminded of? I was reminded of a number of things. I was reminded of the movie AI. You know, the Steven Spielberg movie AI, where nobody really watched the movie, but it was a damn good movie, although it was very dark and it had some slow parts and stuff like that, and it kind of like dragged on too damn long. But artificial intelligence, AI, highly underrated in my opinion. If you can deal with a dark kind of dreary movie that is kind of sad and depressing in certain ways, but at the very end of that movie AI, it's like thousands of years in the future where like some alien civilization has come to the planet, and they're like flying on these little platforms, and these alien creatures are like moving around, and they're like moving in these interesting robotic kind of ways. Like they might actually be robots, they might not even be aliens. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. These humans, like seeing your different humans, seeing the different versions of yourself throughout the game, they kind of move around in this like robotic kind of way that is super cool. It just has a cool vibe. The other thing is well, I wrote down some notes for this. I said, you feel like a robot person. And then I also said, I feel like I lost some weight. I'm super skinny. Yeah, because your arms are like crazy skinny. Like you do feel like, you know, you're looking at your body, you're like, oh, I've really lost a lot of weight. I don't have a lot of muscles and stuff, but I've really lost a lot of weight. I'm very skinny. And that also reminded me of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Talk about a crazy thing to think about. But you know, at the very end, at the very end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when those aliens come out of the ship, and they have like these really long arms that like stretch off into an infinity, these really long, spindly, skinny kind of alien arms. You kind of have these like long, skinny arms. It kind of reminded me of Close Encounters of the Third Kind a little bit. And then basically I'm just saying the puzzle element of the game is quite cool. Basically you record actions of yourself and then replay these actions from a new perspective to solve puzzles, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, is there anything else? No, that's pretty much what I wrote about it. Yeah, so Transpose, I recommend it. I definitely recommend it, especially for $18. I was slightly worried coming into this episode. Like if this was $29.99 or $34.99, it'd be a little bit harder for me to recommend. $24.99 I'd probably still recommend. When I saw the price was $19, $20, and then I saw 10% discount, $18, I kind of recommend this, man. I mean, if you really like puzzle games, and if you can get into the vibe of games, and I know there's people out there, they don't get caught up in the vibe of a game like I do. I really like the vibe of things, and I think that's why I'm so drawn to virtual reality in the first place, is because you are fully immersed in whatever world the developer wants to put you in. And so with the music and the visuals and just kind of the general vibe of it, it really kind of puts you in there. And if you're that type of gamer, you'll probably, and you like puzzle games and kind of a Portal-esque kind of a game, you're probably going to really like this, I think. But if you're the type of person that you play Zing: The Land Beyond, and like I'm talking about vibe all day long with Zing, and you like what the hell is Anthony talking about? It's just a puzzle game. I don't really feel these vibes in games. I don't sit on the beach and look at the stars in a game. I'm just playing a game. I don't get this vibe thing that Anthony's always talking about. If you're that kind of gamer, you might want to pass on it. It'd be cool if they had a demo. It certainly would be cool if they had a demo. Okay, let's go ahead and bounce back over to chat and see what people are talking about. So I Am Ruts is downloading Transpose right now. He has been sold. And you know what? It's a solid game. This is not a bad game, in my opinion. Oh, you know what? I didn't talk about the movement system. Okay, so the movement system in Transpose is you got free locomotion. There is no jump button. You've got free locomotion, but you are going to have to use teleport quite a bit, because you're basically in these weird, like if I go over here, let me switch over to, we can look at some of these screenshots, right? You're in these very surreal kind of worlds, and I haven't gotten to the part yet where you're like upside down and you don't know what end is up and what end is down. I haven't gotten to that quite yet, but look at these surreal worlds, man. But see, a lot of these worlds that you're in, there's like here, for example, like how does this guy get to over here or get over there? There's no jump button. So you have free locomotion. So when you're on this little platform here, you can move around to the edge and do whatever you want, free locomotion style. But if you want to get to these other areas, you have to teleport, and you have a limited teleporting range. So sometimes you have to like activate some kind of switch that causes a platform to go zzz, and move into place, and then you can teleport onto that platform. So it's a combination of free locomotion and teleport. It's not a fast action game. You're not battling things, you're not shooting things, and you're not moving around very quickly. It is definitely a puzzler. But man, look at these surreal worlds. Incredible. I mean, this is a great Tron-like, folks. I mean, look at that. And the music is badass as well. I mean, the music fits the vibe really well. So Secret Location, I am a fan. Like they have made me a fan. Blasters of the Universe, I think, might be legitimately the best wave shooter, period. When you're talking pure play mechanics, Blasters of the Universe might be the best wave shooter ever. Yes, I said it. And The Great Sea is fantastic as well. And they've done a lot of other things as well. So I am impressed with Secret Location. Much love. Canadian developer. Much love. Okay, let's go ahead and back over here. Let's see. Wonder if they were going to make the 2001 movie to VR game. Andy Sky says, I watched it 3 times. I'm not sure if he's talking about, artificial intelligence or AI by Steven Spielberg. Yeah, dude, that movie, I'm telling you, it's underrated. Most people hate that movie. Like my wife hated it. Like she actually didn't even watch it. Like she watched it for a while and fucking gave up on it. It's one of those movies where she quit out of it at a certain point. I'm trying to get chat so it's like barely squeezed in here. We'll just do it like that. Let's see. Whoops, maybe move this up a little. Okay, right here is good. Paradise Decay says he's talking to Andy Sky. Close Encounters Special Edition, one of my favorite films. Yeah, it's funny. Speaking of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I think the special edition is like on Amazon Prime or maybe Netflix or something, because my wife had it on and she was watching it, and I'm like, what are all these different scenes that I never saw before? Like, I don't think this was in the regular theatrical version of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but I mean, truly a fantastic movie. I really like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I mean, it kind of shows its age during certain segments of the movie, but really quite good. So yeah, those movies did come to mind when I was thinking about that. And Shirzad Khan City says teleportation is still a thing. Well, this game is similar in certain ways to God, what was that game? It was something Fate. Was it Uneven Fate? It started with a U, something U Fate. That came out not too long ago, where you have free locomotion and you also use teleport because there's no jump. There's no jump button, and there will be these spaces where if you keep going, you're going to fall off. So how do you get to that area that's like 15 feet away? You have to teleport there. So it does use teleportation. Logan68 says, horrible little kid in the movie AI. Yeah, what's his name? Joel Haley Osment or whatever, the guy that did the little kid. I thought he did a good job. Do you guys remember the teddy bear? The teddy bear in AI was hella cool. I love that little teddy bear. But yeah, it was one of those movies that would really make you think. Like AI would make you think, especially the very ending of AI was like super trippy. The movie did overstay its welcome. It was way too long. It was probably like 45 minutes too long, but very weird, very interesting. Okay, so we've covered pretty much the main topics I wanted to get into, but there were a couple of little interesting topics that I did see on the Vive subreddit that I thought might be kind of interesting for us to discuss real quick. So why don't I go ahead and bounce over here to our small video window thing, our web browser window basically, right? Okay, so I was noticing this thread right here, and I thought this is an interesting thread. A suggestion for VR newcomers: stay blissfully behind the curve. And you know what? I read this guy's thoughts on this, and I don't know that he like really had the kind of thoughts that I wanted him to have after reading that title, but I like the title. I like the idea, and that's this idea that what if we didn't care about all these new headsets? See, one of the problems that we have as VR gamers, you guys are probably very similar to me. You're chasing that dream. You're chasing that immersion. ever since I was probably like 17 years old, I've been chasing the ultimate audio visual experience, an interactive audio visual experience. I've been chasing it forever, since the days I had a TurboGrafx 16 and I got a stereo so I could hear it in stereo sound, man. And then I also got a color TV, so it had the little yellow, red, and white plugs on the back of it, so I could get my graphics just a little bit better, dial up those graphics on level 3. And so I've been chasing it forever, man. The ultimate audio-visual interactive experience. And ultimately, what I really want is I want to be in a goddamn movie. Is that so much to ask? I want to be the star of the movie. And Lone Echo probably was the closest to that. It was like being in a sci-fi movie. Primordian is like that in certain ways. It's like you're in a Predator movie or something for a brief second there, or Avatar when you're walking through that jungle. I want to be transported to a movie, and so I want to be inside the movie. And so part of this is we're always chasing better technology because we want to get closer to that dream. You know, MRTV, Sweeviver, all these guys that are into the latest headsets and trying all these different headsets, it's because we're chasing the dream. We want that immersion. But think of the opposite idea. What about just staying blissfully behind the curve? I like that idea, staying blissfully behind the curve. Imagine if you just forget about all these headsets and you just enjoy the shit you got right now. You just enjoy your HTC Vive right now, and you forget about all these dreams of technological advancements. Yeah, I know, I can't do it either. I'm thinking about the technological advancements, but it's a nice thought to stay blissfully behind the curve. You know, it's an interesting idea, an interesting thought. So I did kind of like that. Not sure what you guys think about that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at chat. Let's see what people are talking about. I Am Rhett says, in Gunheart, I use locomotion, jump, and teleport. Yeah, it's nice when they have all of them. Why not? I'd love to have all of them. Viarium says, I love strange movie, transporting deep in the subject and atmosphere. Definitely check out AI, Viarium, if you haven't checked it out. T-Dub says, AI was original, but depressed me. Yeah, it's not a happy movie. It's not happy at all. Paradise Decay says, Anthony, have you seen Ex Machina? Hell yes, I have. Hell yes. And that, you know what I need to do one day? An off-topic show talking about my all-time favorite movies, and then like my favorite movies of like the last 10 years, because Ex Machina, that shit ranks on my charts. Like some of my favorite movies of recent time, Ex Machina. Apocalypto's pretty old, but one of my favorites, right? The Prestige is a badass movie like that. Chronicle. Is it Chronicle or Chronicles? Chronicles is freaking awesome. District 9 is awesome. You know, and there's probably a lot more that I'm forgetting about. But yeah, those are some of my favorite movies of recent years. And I know Apocalypto is way old. Hussein X says, Ex Machina, good movie, only if such realistic robots existed. Maybe they do, and we're just not aware of them. We're not seeing them. You know what I want? Chronicles was weak, Anthony. Get the hell out of Dodge, Shirzad Khan City. I'm sorry. I will go to war with you. See, Chronicles, I don't know if it's Chronicle or Chronicles. I should probably find that out, right? Because I don't want to keep mispronouncing it. So let's look up Chronicle movie. Chronicle movie. It has Michael B. Jordan in it before he was like a famous dude. Okay, so this is 2012. Okay, Chronicle is a 2000, and it's Chronicle, not with an S. Chronicle movie, 2012. Let me go to images, and then I'll switch over here to kind of, just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is the movie here, Chronicle. Michael B. Jordan is in it. This guy, I forget what this guy is, his name. There's Michael B. Jordan, this guy, and this guy. It's a really good, like, it's a movie about, like, high school and popularity and superpowers and aliens. This, to me, here's my take on Chronicle, okay, for Shirzad Khan City. This is why you're wrong. This is the most realistic superhero movie I've ever freaking seen. Like, this is a superhero movie. It's basically a superhero movie, right? But this is a superhero movie that actually makes like plausible sense. Like I could imagine this shit really happening where I can't get into the Marvel movies. I can't get into Avenger and Spider-Man and Deadpool. I mean, I could get into them if I just turn my brain off and just be like, okay, I'm turning my brain off now and I'm just going to enjoy people running around in costumes. It's hard for me to buy into it because I want something plausible. And Chronicle is plausible. I mean, it's not super plausible, but it's semi-plausible. Like the way they break it down, it's like halfway realistic. And oh man, I thought they absolutely killed it with this movie. And I know the director of this movie, he did like one of the Fantastic Four movies that everybody freaking hated it. And Paradise Decay says, if you like Apocalypto, check out Alpha. Yeah, I definitely love Apocalypto, so maybe I will have to check that out. And we got onto a little movie. Shirzad Khan City says, waste of 90 minutes. Okay, Shirzad Khan City, you need to sign your brain over to science. So when you pass on to another realm, can we study your brain and figure out what went wrong with you? Because Chronicle is badass. Chronicle is badass, man. It's the most realistic superhero movie there is, and that is into discussion. But we got to get off this movie topic because I'm sure there's some people that are probably watching this that they don't give a damn about movies. Okay, what was I talking about before? We were talking about Blissful. Oh, you know what? Here's some news. Let me switch over to something else. Here's some news, guys. So check this out. PlayStation VR motion controller. These are some documents. These are some images from a patent that Sony has filed for a motion controller, and it's pretty interesting here. You know, we got thumbsticks obviously on the controllers. There's a button here. I don't know if this is a sliding button. Now this part is kind of open, and this is showing you a close-up of this. It's showing, I gotta move my mouse over here so you guys see what I'm doing here. It's showing you like an open thing of this close-up. I'm not sure what all is going on here, but there's definitely a number of buttons, power buttons, thumbsticks, and all of that. Not that this is anything like super incredible. Obviously, Sony is working on a future version of PlayStation VR. There's no question about it. Even if they were never ever going to release it, they would still work on it in the background for experimental purposes anyway. So we know they're working on new controllers. We know they're working on a new tracking system. And it's nice to see these pictures and think that something like this might not be too far away. Yeah, so these are the screenshots here. These are the images from the patent, and they're talking about this a little bit on the PSVR subreddit. So there is that. I didn't want to forget about that. Let me see if there was anything else that you know what, Road to VR. Let's actually go to Road to VR because Upload VR, last time I tried to check it, it was not working. Let's bounce over here to Road to VR, and if you guys don't believe me about Transpose, maybe you guys can believe Road to VR. 4 out of 5 stars. Transpose review, spatial puzzles, perfect for an army of one. And I don't know if they got into talking about the vibe and the Tron aspects of it and just how cool this world looks. But it is dope to be sure. So yeah, even though some puzzles can be solved more cheaply than the developers probably intended, it's nice that the game doesn't arbitrarily stop you from finding an alternative solution or even brute forcing a win. So yeah, it looks pretty interesting, man. I'm a fan. They gave it basically an 8 out of 10. Transpose relies upon snap turning and makes use of both head, relative smooth locomotion, and teleportation at times, the latter of which is vital in traversing the game's many floating platforms. Absolutely, yeah, there are a lot of floating platforms. So that is Road to VR. Pretty solid review there on Transpose. Oh, here's what I wanted to mention about Road to VR. They ripped Déraciné a new one, an exercise in boredom. Ouch. So not a big fan of Déraciné over here. Let's see, what did they give it ultimately at the end? 3 out of 10. Ouch. They really kind of hammered it pretty hard there. So yeah, I mean, especially with that $30 price, I don't believe I'm going to check out Déraciné, because I don't think I'm going to pay $30 for it myself personally, and I don't think I'm getting a code, so this might be one of the games I end up missing. Lethal Weasel VR says a lot of people like Déraciné. Well, you know what? It seems to be polarizing. There do seem to be certain people that get caught up in Déraciné and kind of enjoy it, even though it's only 3 hours and stuff. But there's also people that kind of really hate it. So it does seem to be like a hate it or love it kind of a game. And when we have games like that, you really wish there was a goddamn trailer, not a trailer. You really wish there was a trial or, you know, a demo that you could play. It would certainly help things out. And speaking of trailers, I really do need to throw another trailer on here, because we've been running this other trailer for quite some time. So let's throw on a different trailer, Limbs. Let me turn the volume down a little bit on this. All right. So yeah, Déraciné, Road to VR kind of panned that. They did like Transpose. Let me see. And then there's nothing else new. You know, they're still talking about that Walmart deal. Let me see if I can get Upload VR to work. See, I'll show you guys what I see when I try to go to Upload VR. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Upload VR, but this is what I see when I try to go to Upload VR. So something's kind of screwed up there. So not sure what that is. I mean, not sure what the deal is with that. Okay, why don't we go ahead and bounce back to ye old subreddits. And let's see, was there another topic I wanted to get into though? Oh yeah, there is another topic I wanted to get into. And this is actually a very pertinent topic, because we just found out about Unseen Diplomacy 2. So what is the other topic? Oh, MRTV has checked in. It seems Upload VR is going to rebrand. Ah, so that is the deal. Yeah, I saw MRTV on Discord saying, hey, is Upload VR down for everybody else? I saw him talking about that on Discord. MRTV, Sebastian in the building. Hey, this is our first celebrity, guys. Our first celebrity that has shown up to the new VR365 channel. Because we've had some celebrities come in to VR Game Rankings and chat occasionally, but this is the first time we've had a celebrity on VR 3333666555555. So glad to have MRTV, glad to have Sebastian here. He is always banging it out, man. Always doing some great videos. He's got a great video recently about an interesting tracking solution for like Oculus Go's and stuff. This interesting tracking solution, very interesting video. So be sure to go ahead and bounce over to MRTV when you get an opportunity. But yeah, our first celebrity on this channel. And he's saying Upload VR, they saw Anthony rebranding and thought we got to do it too. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was all about. They saw that VRGameRankings.com has a new logo and they're like, oh shit, VRGameRankings.com has a new logo. What are we going to do? We got to do something. So we're going to change our whole entire website. Okay, but I did want to talk about this topic over here. It is pertinent. Just 20% of Rift users have a room scale sensor setup. And this is an unfortunate bit of news right here. Just 20% of Rift users have a room scale sensor setup. Very unfortunate, because what does this mean for the future of room scale? I mean, we just found out about Unseen Diplomacy 2. Now, we don't even know if Unseen Diplomacy 2 is going to be a hardcore room scale game or not. Because one of the things about regular Unseen Diplomacy, well, actually, let me switch it back over to this mode. And then what I'll do is I'm going to grab the Steam page for regular Unseen Diplomacy, because one of the things that you'll see is it requires a very specific kind of meters. Diplomacy. Unseen Diplomacy on Steam. Yeah, okay. So Unseen Diplomacy on Steam, like let's bounce back over to here. This is it right here. Very positive. 145 reviews. Very positive. April 4th, 2016. This was an HTC Vive launch day experience. It's only $3. It's only $3, and you will literally be climbing around on the ground. So those of you that have a Vive wireless adapter, you should be trying this shit out. I had a lot of fun with this. Now, this is not like it's incredibly short, but it kind of gives you the idea of how you create these rooms within a rooms, and you have artificial barriers that force you not to go in certain areas. And so it's just a masterful use of your room scale space. But see, here's the thing. This is the catch right here. This VR game requires a play area of at least 4 meters by 3 meters. And that kills it for a huge swath of the population. And that's why we go back to that story over there in Oculus about people only having 2 sensors, you know, and they don't have a third sensor and they don't have a fourth sensor. And I'm worried, man. I'm a little bit worried because I don't want Triangular Pixels to scale back on their dream of creating a really cool room scale kind of a thing. Now, maybe what Triangular Pixels could do is they could take a page from Alchemy Labs with Vacation Simulator and Job Simulator, where Job Simulator, if you were in the cooking mode of Job Simulator, it would scale to the size of your room space area. So that's one way to get around it. So if you have a really small space, it scales it small. If you have a much bigger space, you got this big ass kitchen that you could use. But the problem with that is it might compromise their vision, because if they say, look, you've got to have this 4 meter by 3 meter space, and they know that everybody that plays their game is going to have that space, they could design the game into a certain kind of a way and really do some cool things. Like if you look over here on this, see the guy crawling around on the ground and he's like unscrewing these screws? That's what you're really doing. Like you really get down on the ground. You're crawling around. This is the original Unseen Diplomacy. I'm still kind of amazed. This part scared the living daylights out of me. Do you guys remember this part here where you walk outside and you're on this like ledge? And I remember I was like on the ledge and I'm like tiptoeing on the ledge, and I felt like I was going to fall off. This was back in the days when I had fear of heights major in VR, major fear of heights, because this was April 2016. This was one of my first. I was terrified. I couldn't do this part right here. I was literally terrified. And there's one part where there's a ladder that's like leaning up against something, and you hit the ladder and the ladder falls down, and it falls way the hell down, and then it clanks on the ground, and it gives you that sense like, oh shit, that's way down there. I don't want to fall off this edge. I was scared to death. But they're showing, you know, people playing it, crawling around on the ground. Unseen Diplomacy. I mean, it's short. Here's the ladder. That's the ladder I'm talking about, because you gotta tiptoe along this edge, and then you gotta like kneel down and get inside this little opening there, and you're opening up all the little drawers. There's all these little monitors and terminals and stuff. So like, I'm a pretty big fan of Unseen Diplomacy, and it's amazing to me how many people have never tried Unseen Diplomacy. Like, there's a lot of people that don't even know it exists, and it's like such a damn shame. But you know what? Part of it is just not very many people have room scale capabilities, and that's unfortunate, because I want everybody to live the dream. I was on VR Roundtable, actually. The most recent VR Roundtable, we were talking about Grand Theft Auto, and we were talking about Red Dead Redemption, and we were talking about Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Red Dead, not the CEO of Red Dead Redemption, but the CEO of like Take-Two Interactive or 2K Games or whatever the hell they're calling themselves. And he said that VR isn't going to work because people have to dedicate a room to it. And Steve on VR Roundtable says, I agree. I don't think people are going to dedicate a room to VR. And I wanted to jump in and say, wait a minute, because this is what I think. 10 years from now, you know how when you go home shopping for a new home, they'll be like, this home has a bonus room. This home has a media room. And you like go upstairs and there's like this extra bonus room that's upstairs that you could like put like a pool table and a bar and like an arcade machine, kind of like MameFan has it going on, like a bonus room type of deal. And I believe like 10, 15 years from now, we are going to have, there's going to be AR rooms, VR/AR room. There's going to be rooms, 30 by 30 rooms with relatively high ceilings that will be able to accommodate what do they call it, where the walking automatically adjusts. I believe we are going to have these homes. Now, it's going to be a while away. We're talking 10, 15 years or so, but I do believe it's going to happen. But unfortunately, the current day reality is very few people have room scale. It's a niche within a niche within a niche. It is a concern. Now, Fluke says, room scale has become so redundant. When's the last time you even bothered to check the space requirements for a game? Well, that's because we're all using smooth locomotion. We don't care about it anymore. But for me, I wish there were more games that did it. John Shrewbrook says, my Power PC, even with the additional USB hub card attached, just wouldn't handle it. Too many other peripherals attached. Okay, that's probably adding additional sensors on, which is an irritant in a major way. Push the Button says, did you play it to the end? I think he's talking about Unseen Diplomacy. Yes, I did play it to the end. I've played it like probably 10, 15 times. I Am Rhett says, is it worth picking it up? Are you talking about Unseen Diplomacy? If you've got a wireless adapter or a TP cast, hell the F yes, it is. In fact, not only is it worth picking up, it's like mandatory. You've got to do it. And Shirzad Khan City says, live the dream. Star VR. Push the Button says, this home has a VR room. Yes, that is going to be a phrase that you are going to hear in about 15 years. Yeah, it's got a VR room, 30 by 30. What do they call the walking where it automatically adjusts? So it like, you're walking around and then the world that you're in will just move ever so slightly. Oh, redirected. Redirected walking. That was the phrase that I'm looking for. If you have a 30 by 30 space, you can do redirected walking. So yeah, let's have some VR rooms. If you have a 30 by 30 room, imagine Skyrim special redirected walking edition. So you can just walk all around Skyrim. You can walk the Skyrim coming to a home near you. Add this special Skyrim to play Skyrim. But seriously, walking around Fallout 4 VR with redirected walking in a 30 by 30 area, that would be super cool. Okay, VRM says, majority of Japanese can't already get room scale. Space will cost more and more. Yeah, this is not going to work in Japan, and it's not going to work in most of Europe. This is kind of like an American thing where we have these big-ass houses and spaces for days, that we can make these big-ass rooms. Greg's VR says, limbs looks lame. Character looks try hard to be cute by the devs, but they lost their way. Yeah, I've left this trailer running way too long. My apologies for that. Hussein X says, the third sensor felt rejected. Thought it's not worth living, so decided to commit suicide. Wow. Okay, he's talking about his third sensor, I guess, died on him. Damn, people, if you want room scale, just go outside. Plenty of room. Well, Shirzad Khan City, that is an interesting point, and especially with the arrival of the Oculus Quest this spring, there's this idea of, yeah, you can go outside, but here's one of the things that people need to be careful about in terms of going outside and going to your average park and playing Skyrim Park Edition, where you go to your neighborhood park and you're playing Skyrim. Have you ever walked in a park for more than 5 minutes? It's not like a flat, even surface. It's like, there's divots, there's roots of trees, there's dog crap, there's all kinds of stuff. There's bumps, it goes down, it goes up. You can't just walk around. You're going to have a big-ass parking lot. And then it's going to have, we're talking about concrete. So if you get into a battle with some kind of crazy monster and you freak out and you fall down, you're going to hit hard concrete. So that's not necessarily a good idea either. So I think we need 30 by 30 VR rooms with padded walls and very cushiony floors. And that's the future, man. The Skyrim, it's coming to you. Skyrim coming in 2030. So that's that. All right. Well, we have been going for just about an hour here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. This has been episode 2 of the show. Do I have an outro trailer? No, I don't. But you know what? Jim Hall Jim Hall has been helping me, and we're working on a little, it's not going to be like a super high-end trailer, but we're working on a little trailer to use for some different things. So pretty soon I will have an intro outro trailer. I guess what I can use, this is what I'm using as my outro trailer. I just go ahead and grab a little video thing of my let's see, where is it? We go to my folder here. I just grab my logo. Yeah, we just grabbed this logo and just, oh wait, no, that's not the right one. Oh, did I move it? I think I moved, oh no, here it is. Okay, I just grabbed this and I can call this my outro trailer. So yeah, this is the end of the show. So remember, subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. It's safe to subscribe now because I'm not uploading a million backloaded videos. We've pretty much done the backlog thing. I do need to add timestamps and descriptions and tags, and I do need to redo some of the thumbnails and blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, we're there. That's good. So go ahead and subscribe to the show. Go ahead and like the show. And go ahead and tell your friends and tell your buddies. And we got to get these subscriber numbers up because it's not cutting the mustard. I'm not going to worry about it too much for the next several months. I'm not even going to worry about it. But subscriber numbers definitely have to rise. But I will see everybody tomorrow on Wednesday at 11 Pacific on Wednesday. So hopefully Job will have finished his job and not a lot of background noise. That would be wonderful. But I will see you guys tomorrow. So take it easy. Later.